Jessie Oonarak began making drawings and wall hangings and other sewn items in the very late 1950s. And by the early 60s, she was regularly sewing clothing such as parkas and mitts and small wall hangings. This gorgeous hanging dates from circa 1965-66. And in my opinion, it's one of the most beautiful hangings of that period, if not the most beautiful and interesting hanging. Like most of her early wall hangings, this is narrative rather than symbolic. By the 1970s, Oonarak was creating larger hangings with more of a symmetrical structure, and they were often symbolic in content. But here, she was still working with narrative. So we have a kayak hunting scene, hunting caribou by kayak, people in the camp cutting up caribou that have already been caught, a couple of random musk oxen, and a tent, which is part of the camp scene. It's the details of this hanging that I find so remarkable and so charming and interesting. For instance, the kayakers. I've never seen kayaks drawn or sewn by her, or anyone else for that matter, that have this particular shape. Often, Untitled and Oonarak would draw kayakers by showing the kayak from the top, but it would show the entire kayak from the top, and then a person in the kayak seen from the front, but it looked like they're lying down in the kayak. But here we don't have the back end of the kayak, so it almost looks like these are like kayak people. They're almost like kayak spirits, rather than, there's like a hybrid person kayak rather than a kayaker paddling a kayak. But also, if you think about the mixed perspective, it may be that it's kind of a very oblique view of somebody in a kayak, where you don't see the back end of the kayak because it's sort of hidden behind the person. So it's a really interesting way of presenting them. Probably the most surprising aspect of this hanging is the tent. I've never seen another one like it. The tent flap actually opens up to reveal two small figures sort of hiding inside the tent. And you fold it back down, you see the clue where one figure just has two little arms sticking out of the tent, which is a clue that there's something underneath. I mean, to me, this is just one of the most charming aspects of any Oonarak hanging that I can think of. Another example of a slightly mixed perspective is the musk oxen. And again, you will see this in other examples of early, sort of first generation Baker-like artists. The musk oxen are shown in complete profile, but in order to get a better sense of their horns, the horns are actually shown from the front. So although the heads are faced straight down grazing, in fact, they're shown with the horns twisted to the front so that we see the full array of a muskox horn.